Joining me right now is UFC bantamweight Louis Smolka. What's going on, Luis?
Hey John, how's it going?
Good, good, man. The first thing I want to get into, since I'm out here in Asia, and Asia is connected to the Pacific, is PXC, the promotion that led you to the UFC. Talk about your experience with them and how that experience impacted your career.
PXU was great, man. I worked with them back in like 2012. That was when I went on a streak. I got their flyweight title. I won 4 straight fights with their organization, and that's what led to me getting signed to the UFC when I was 22. It was a great experience, man. They were a great show. It was kind of crazy just being like so young in my career. I think I was like 2-0 when I first started going with them, and like their the first event they had me in was the place where Ali and Frazier fought. I think in the Philippines was like so like you know what I mean, like just out the gate they were just showing me all the crazy shit. I was like, oh damn, like this is wild. But like it was sick. Like they were a great promotion. Super professional. Like it was my first experience having like walkouts and like like the projectors going and the fog and stuff. And there's people running around in the back. Like chaperoning you on your walkouts and stuff. It was crazy. They all have like the walkie talkie set up, like communicating. I was like, oh damn, this is nuts.
Yeah, a lot just like you, a lot of guys, a lot of champions from that promotion, they went to the next level and went to the
Yes.
UFC and were pretty successful just like yourself. Now, let's talk about your return to the UFC last November. You finished your opponent in China. Were you kind of hesitant to take that fight since it was kind of on short notice and you had to go to China?
It was a bit of a worry, but like, I mean, it was kind of like, well, do this, or we don't know when your next shot's coming, so you don't really have much of a choice. It was kind of I was a little bit nervous, just going to China because I know it's gonna be pretty like partisan, like anywhere else. You go like they're going for their guys. You know what I mean? You're not really gonna win a decision out there. And so, I was a little bit worried, but I was just gonna game it.
How did it feel to be in the octagon again? It must have been emotional since a lot of fighters normally once they leave the UFC, they never get back to the UFC.
Yeah, like it was a lot, just with me, like leaving or well, with my being cut, like there's not like a whole lot of money outside of the sport, especially for the promotions like the smaller regional promotions, and like financially, like it didn't really make sense to go back unless like I was gonna walk away from MMA, like I was like this close away, like I was almost done. And it was just such a relief to be able to like continue doing what I was doing, like to get the call and just be like, it's gonna be okay at least for a little while more. And it was a lot at one time. It's like, okay, this is great. I don't have to look for a new career. I don't have to like hang up the gloves just yet. And like I still have more fights left in me, and I was so happy. I was so grateful for that.
What is different about you in your second run in the UFC?
I would definitely say like I'm taking it a lot more serious. I'm a lot more mature with how I do things. Like before I was just kind of like a kid just kind of having fun with it. I think I might have took it for granted a bit, and like I was drinking way too much. I was partying, I was having a good time. I wasn't taking my diets as seriously as possible, and now like I don't know, just having it all taken away from you, it really makes you like appreciate it. It really makes you like it really showed me like what I took for granted, and it made me want it that much more. It made me that much hungrier, to realize what you've lost. And it's just I feel refocused and rededicated, and like I feel like I'm just gonna try my best. The new weight class is definitely a big change. I'm hoping it works out for me. Like I know I did struggle making to 25, and maybe I didn't take my diet as seriously as possible, but at 125 it was like I had no room for error. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it should be like that, to be like I was like depleting myself to like the like pretty close to death. I feel like sometimes I literally didn't have any more muscle left on my body. Like there's guys that are like, oh yeah, we're like dehydrating the muscle. I was like, man, I feel like I'm dehydrating like my organs and my bones at this point because like I don't think I have much muscle left, you know. And it was a grueling process every time. And so now that I'm up 10 pounds heavier, I feel like I might have some new explosiveness, some new like I'll be able to move better, you know. I'll be able to actually like do some of the things from practice and be able to grow a little bit more and just do new things.
You know, the video of Cyborg and how she went through her weight cuts. Did you have any scary moments like that?
Yeah, I've done a few like that. I mean, I had one for PXC, my first time making 25 as a pro. I didn't really know how to do it. I'm over here eating cup noodle and shit like the week before weigh-ins, and like you know, like just I didn't really know, like I didn't nobody knew what the hell we were doing. You know, it's like eat real little bit and go sit in the sauna. You know, like that was about our knowledge of it. And so like dude, that one man, my eyes were like kind of doing a figure eight. Like I couldn't hold my eyes straight. Like if that makes sense. Like my vision was doing this weird thing, and I probably was going cross-eyed if you looked at me, but I wouldn't know, you know. And like my face was just sucked in. That happened a few times. Like it all came out of my face, and I felt like I was just like, oh, it's just horrible.
Well, now you're at the weight class you should be at. You know, you're eating food, you're getting bigger, you got some muscle on you. You call
Yeah.
out Matt Schnell and actually got the fight that you called for. Nowadays, that's a surprise, man, for most fighters. How did you were you surprised when you got the contract and that his name was on it?
Yeah, no, I was surprised when they called me back and told me I got it, but my manager, Jason House, he told me, he's like, man, I want that Matt Schnell fight. I'm gonna push for it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my part and I'm gonna try to call this guy out, you know, and try to get the fight like at least like on my end, you know. And so Jason's like, yeah, we got it, man. Like we're going through with it. I was like, oh, sweet, like hell yeah.
Well, I guess you got to keep calling people out nowadays. It's part of the UFC.
Yeah, dude, like you gotta be within reason, you know what I mean? Like I can't win one and be like, I want a title shot, you know, like you gotta kinda like make sense, you know, you can't be just too out of left field, but yeah, man. Like if as long as you call somebody out in the ballpark, like they seem to be willing to make it work, you know?
Yeah, now, when you look at your opponent, you know, when you break him down, what do you see?
I see kinda somebody kinda similar to myself. Like we kinda look similar. Like and I'm pretty sure he's like white and Korean, and I'm
He
white and
is, he
Japanese.
is.
So I thought that was funny. I was like, oh shit, we're like kind of the same thing. That's pretty hilarious. Like we look kind of similar, but I mean, as far as that goes, that's kind of like where I feel like the similarities end. I feel like he's a bit of a point fighter, and he does a lot of things like to get points. You know, he's like a good looking dude. He wants to stay pretty, I guess. And I'm looking to make it a bit of a dogfight. You know, I'm looking there to like to come after him. I'm trying to rip his head off. So yeah, like that's how I feel the matchup goes. I feel like I'm gonna try to get in his face and I'm gonna try to break him.
Your team Oyama, you've been there for a while now. How has it been working with that team and the coaches there?
Um, Honestly, it's been crazy working with Coach Colin. He's a real like pioneer in the sport, man. He had Rampage back in the day, Tito, you know, back when they were big deals. He's had some big names. He's had like 3 UFC champions so far that he's pretty much like, you know, he's helped to build. He's dude, and he's shown me like a lot of like pretty interesting things, you know. He hasn't really tried to change my style too much. We're just adding little things here and there. He's not like trying to reinvent me or anything. You know, I had a good style. You know, come forward and try to take people out, and you know, we're adding little things here and there, like you know, trying to fill the holes as best we can. And it's been a great experience, man. It's been eye opening. You know, I've kind of like I feel like I've seen some things like I've seen a lot of things I wouldn't have seen back home. Got some great sparring partners over there. I got some good just a like I guess a plethora of sparring partners of great like high level dudes to train with, and you know it's great, man. I've been having a good time.
Have you been doing anything that you didn't do previously at Team Oyama?
The track work is the biggest difference. Is this like the single biggest thing that I didn't do before is sprinting and like running on that track. I've never done track work until I came out here, and that's just like people say, oh yeah, it opens your lungs when you run on the track, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, my lungs are plenty open, my cardio's good, But then when I did it, I was like coughing up mucus and stuff. I was like, oh, this is different. Like that was pretty eye opening. That was interesting for me.
Are you still open to go down to flyweight though? Even though you said that, it's hard cut, but now you're more knowledgeable. There's like this new technology and science, and you see all these guys using different dietitians and stuff like that. If the opponent is right, would you go down?
Maybe. I'd have to see, honestly, man. It's been hard making it these past couple. I'd have to like talk to people. I'd have to get like body fat and stuff, get those BMIs counted, and like look at it. Honestly, I need to see it mathematically broken down for me. But I'd consider it. Like, it's not something that I'm completely against. It's just at this point, I don't think that it's a good thing for me. Like I'm entering my physical peak, or my physical prime. Traditionally is 27 to 32 in males for athletes. And that's supposed to be like when you have like the most explosion, the most like muscle mass on your body, the best strength numbers and stuff like that. So I feel like this might not be the best time to be trying to go down, maybe like this is the time to go up. And then maybe if I get a little bit older, lose some weight, we'll see.
With the year beginning, it's a new year. Where do you see yourself, at the end of the year? Where do you see yourself in December?
I'm hoping to come off around 2 to 3 wins, be knocking on top 10, top 15 area, and trying to set myself up for a title run. Honestly, the goal is always to get a belt. I know we got to take it one step at a time, but I'm always trying to move towards that. I'm always trying to move towards a belt.
Now, one last question before I let you go. You mentioned your manager. It seems like you have a lot of trust in him. How important is it for you to have someone like that in your corner?
It's honestly a really big deal. Jason, he's been there with me through like a lot, from getting cut from the UFC. I actually came up here to Team Oyama because he was like, that's where you should go. Like, we're gonna get you, you're gonna stop drinking and we're gonna send you to Oyama's and we're gonna get you back in. Like, this is the plan. And I was like, dude, I have my house, I have my kid. He's like, don't worry, you'll stay with me. Like, we'll get you through this. And me and my friend Russell Doan, we both came up here and like kind of got my feet settled. And it's just been a lot of his help, kind of guiding me through my career. And it's been good. He's helped me to like make a lot of good moves and maybe right some wrongs and stuff. Like, I mean, he helped me get that main event shot in Ireland. He helped me to fight Richie Vass in Australia, and he's helped me out a lot. He's provided a lot of guidance, and he's always like been there to do his best,
Definitely, it seems like kind of like a Jerry Maguire situation right there. It's lovely to see.
Yeah, man, like Jerry Maguire. Yeah, but it's just he works hard, man. He works really, really hard. He does his best, He does his best to do his best every day.
All right, well, March 9th, your year starts. UFC on ESPN Plus 4 versus Matt Schnell in Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, Luis, for your time, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me on, man.